myself, but what I know about myself, I can say I grew up in a family of many boys, and I happen to be the last of those boys. And as I was growing up, I faced a series of challenges in my life, looking at my aspirations and my visions. Along the way, I faced the major difficulties that most of us will face, which was the loss of my benefactor, my father, at a very tender age. That was when I was still in Form 2, second term to be precise. And I had to drop out of school for some time to look for my school fees to continue. Within this period, I actually faced a series of challenges, which I think these challenges can help as encouragement to those that might have gone through similar difficulties like I did. For example, when my dad died, I and my brother, I'm a twin, I and my twin brother, the first move we had to take was that since we pleaded with the school to give us some time, and the only work they could give us was to drain a flushing toilet, which was full. It was nasty. It's a very funny story, but we had no other choice, so we had to do that. We actually were removing fuses with buckets and going and throwing it in a pit that we have dug, in a bid that they should reduce our school fees, because before the demise of my dad, we were in a boarding school. And we did like that, struggle, and after some days, the money that we have worked to fill up had to expire, and were expelled from school. So I had to go to parks to sell bread and sell all types of things to cook, to survive. And at the end, after a year, I went back but to a government school to do general education. Actually, when I was in a professional school or in a technical school, I was doing electricity, and I was very good at that. So when I went back to government school, all my dreams were kind of shattered, and so I had to follow a different pattern of life that did not actually suit me. But my visions did not change. I've always been having in mind to be a change maker, to bring something that does not exist, to bring up new technologies that can help people to evolve and to get better, especially in Africa, where we focus too much on theory. So I was working on that vision, and when I went back to school, I managed to go through. Actually, I managed to go through, and then went through from one challenge to another, which I may not want to talk here for now because it is a long story. But by the grace of God, I found myself in a professional school, and then through my training in the professional school, I saw a lot of lapses, and I started thinking, what if I bring an advanced way of calling professional education so that it can really make meaning in the lives of people? And that is where I am right now.
Yeah. So if we follow you well, one thing we know is that you are a promoter, a proprietor of training institute, a vocational training institute in the capital city of Cameroon.
Yes.
So tell us about your school.
Okay, so when I was in a professional school, precisely in level 2, I discovered that the professionality in the professional school was not really professional. Why? Because actually practicals was not effective. Everything was just theory. I don't want to stress more, but there are actually some lecturers that will just be there. They do not really know the practical part of it. And they will just come and give theory. When you ask questions, they will not answer you. I started telling my mates I'm going to start a professional school. And they were laughing at me, looking at my situation at that time. I was paying my school fees with home teaching, actually. I will leave school, I will go and teach. I'm sure at that time, home teaching, I was teaching but one class and it was giving me about 35,000. Then I would remove part of the money as my salary, as my rent, and then I would take part and go and pay as part of my fees. So that is how I managed to push through. In level 2, I went to some of my lecturers. I told them I want to start the procedures to open a vocational school, a professional school. And they told me I cannot succeed. First of all, I don't have the money and I don't have the background. I'm not educated to that level. It is something for people that are having big certificates and having big money in their bank accounts. So I started with holiday classes. That time I was teaching at the Lycée de Tukebe as a part-time teacher, where I still take some classes there in computer science. So I started there. I went and advertised to the children in classes that I have holiday classes in computer. So during every holidays, during that time when I advertised, when school had not gone for holidays, one lady came and told me she wanted to be trained by me. So I did some training with her. I'm sure she was very satisfied with it. Yes, and then during that holiday I had to learn the holiday classes. Actually, the holiday classes were holding in my parlor. So some few students came. I trained them for that first year for free. I gave them good training. And when they went to write the GCE, a couple of them actually had A grades in computer science. So that actually further motivated me, and then I saw that what I was doing was great. And I continued.
Okay, before going back to talk about the school, yes, I'd like to take us away from there a bit. Let's go back to your early life here in Yaoundé.
Yeah.
One should note you hail from Boyo division in the northwest. Bello.
Yeah.
Okay. So one knowing that you come from Bello to settle in Yaoundé and then get to enter a professional school, finally a proprietor or a promoter. Let us first know about your first days in Yaoundé. Did you first come to Yaoundé to enter a professional school, or you came to the university?
No, I came to the university.
Okay.
And actually coming to the university was simply because I went to general education. Though I did the sciences, I did not know that you can have a maybe advanced level in sciences and then go to do professional education. So my early days in Yaoundé, or my early years in Yaoundé, I can say God. If you don't believe in God, whoever that is listening to this, if you don't believe in God, know that God is real. He's the one that took me through in Yaoundé. I arrived Yaoundé by faith.
Okay.
Because I knew nobody. I knew nobody in Yaoundé, and I purposed in my heart that I want to assume that I know nobody. And I came to Yaoundé with 90,000 francs to come and go to school. Everything, my entire everything.
Okay.
So when I came, I went directly to the university campus at the University of Yaoundé 1. I looked for admission, did my medical tests, go for orientation. I did not know where I would pass the night. And behold, that evening I met a classmate of mine, Kilian, who took me to somewhere, I don't know the name of the place. I'm sure there was Bastos, where his elder brother lives. So that is how it started. I started living from there and coming to the University of Yaoundé. As time went on, I met one Banso guy that we had to patch and hook up together. And as time went on, he sent me out of his house for reasons best known to him alone. When he sent me out of his house, I will be very, very practical here. The day he was to send me out of his house, I received a dream. I call it vision. I had a vision and I saw somebody giving me the keys of a house. So at that time I was doing one petty business beside the road. And that day when he was about to send me out of the house, immediately I came back to my petty business place. Somebody told me, there's a neighbor beside me that is parking out. Do you know somebody that needs a room? I said I need a room. So I just rushed up there. The lady gave me the key and told me, just tell the landlord that you are my younger brother. And she said, I've already told the landlord. So you will continue to pay the rent that I was paying. And to shock you, this lady was paying 5,000 per month for rent. So since she has been there for many years, I just went in and I continued. The room was really very small. You just put your bed, you just place your bed. When you place your bed, you cannot put a table or gas bottle or anything. So I was using a very small stove to prepare my little food. And that is how I struggled. The business grew so greatly that within that year, I was already counting at the end of the month, I can have at least 100,000 gain. At times when things are bad, I will have 80,000. So I knew that everything was fine. But out of a surprise, the business crumbled. It crumbled to a point that I could barely eat, and then I had to drop out of school.
What made the business to crumble? Sometimes they begin to think that women are the cause. What made the whole business to crumble?
Wow. Unfortunately, it was not a woman. Actually, I'm not that type. As I told you, I actually believed in Christ when I was in Form 3. I received Him and I believed in Him. From then, I've not had anything to do with a woman. Like what caused the business to crumble was a kind of sympathy that I offered to somebody.
Okay.
Yeah, I went back to the village to visit my people, and I met this young guy whose parents have died. I remember the suffering that I went through, and the guy had dropped out of school. So I remember the suffering that I went through, and without any hesitation, I told him, come down to Yaoundé, let me take care of you. Come down to Yaoundé, take care of my business. So when he came down to Yaoundé, that time I was in level 2 in Awoh Caleb. So taking him to church, praying with him, having devotion with him, I gave him all the confidence. And within 4 months, I don't know what he did with the money, but since the business was a little bit far away from the house, I was just passing and I met a neighbor one day. We were bypassing, and she told me, Mr. Elvis, why have we decided to give up on your business? So when I went to find out, I discovered that this guy has consumed everything. I think I gave him overconfidence.
Okay.
Yes, I don't know what he did with the business, but that is how it crumbled.
Okay. So, what happened that you left the university to a professional school?
Okay. So at the time that the business crumbled, I had no money to restart the business. Actually, because when it crumbled, I paid my school fees in Form 5 being an Okada man. So when the business crumbled and I had no money, I had to go and wipe out everything from my savings account. Came and bought a motorcycle. And as I bought the motorcycle, within a week, I worked about 50,000 on that motorcycle. And that was money that I borrowed to add to buy the bike. That very day that I arrived at 50,000, the next morning the bike was stolen from me. So there was nothing left with me at that time. I went into debt. I started borrowing money from people, not knowing where to get it. And a time was coming when I had to pay my school fees, when they were about to start the continuous assessments, and I did not have money to pay my fees. So I had to run around, try to borrow from people that I trusted, but they could not help me. So I had no choice but to drop. So when I dropped, I knew that that was all about me. It was thanks to a contract that was launched in Equatorial Guinea. Remember, I told you I was doing electricity. So an electrical company in Equatorial Guinea launched a contract of, they wanted to transform their cables and put them on the ground.
Yeah.
So when they launched the contract, a friend of mine, Brother Nigren, or Pastor Nigren, he contacted me and said there's a job in Equatorial Guinea. I was not in a hurry to go there. I took time and I prayed. And one night, the Lord actually opened my eyes. I saw myself walking there. So the next day, I went and bought the necessary materials that I had to go with it there. And then I contacted him. He directed me and I went to Equatorial Guinea. In the course of working in Equatorial Guinea now, I had a series of friends from Cameroon. Some that I would like to mention their names, like Mr. Kum Festus and Cornelius, who is now in the United States of America, and we were working together. So as we were working and going, one day I just felt the vision of becoming technically oriented coming back to my mind, and I shared you Mr. Festus, and then he mentioned a professional school to me here in Cameroon, in Yaoundé, and told me maybe when we return you may go and look for admission there. So that is how I found myself in a professional school.
And so when you went to professional school, what did you study there?
Okay, at the first level, I wanted to actually study medicine, but on the other part, I thought about my electrical engineering ideas that I've been having. Unfortunately, they were not doing electrical engineering, so I went in for computer engineering. I specialized in the first year. We were doing computer hardware maintenance. So the subsequent years I had to take specialization in computer networking.
And do you have some certificates in computer studies?
Yeah. I think for now I have first that is Bachelor's of Technology in Computer Networks and System Maintenance.
Under which institutions? Or institution, University of Bamenda, I guess.
Yeah, University of Bamenda.
Okay, now, and it just so happened that upon your graduation, you started your own school.
Yeah, it was a miracle.
So has it been easy as a young Cameroonian starting up a school that your lecturers told you could not start?
It has not been easy. You know, I like purpose. When you have a purpose, when your vision is driven by purpose, nobody can stop you. So I am a purpose-driven youth. If you look on my bangle here, you will see this thing I've written there, youth with purpose.
Okay.
This bangle has never left my hand since I made it.
Okay.
Now, when I know that I am a young person with a purpose, I am not motivated by words from people. I'm motivated by the passion that I have in my heart. As I told you earlier, I went through difficulties in the professional school. It was not really professional. And I thought about those that were coming behind me. Will people claim that they went to professional schools, for example, did computer maintenance that cannot effectively install an operating system, cannot effectively troubleshoot a computer, cannot effectively listen to a bit code in the computer and say this is the problem? I did most of my studies, even in a professional school, through the internet. YouTube, if you check my back there, you will see I have about 2 terabytes of hard drive. They are full with videos on computer maintenance. And I believe that the institution actually saw the level at which I was growing. Because before I graduated from this institution, I was granted an opportunity to lecture back then.
Okay.
Even as a student, I had students that I was working with. And that is one of the things that actually motivated me. Now, coming back to your question, if it was easy, there's a statement that usually says that nothing good actually comes easy.
Or you had a godfather?
No. I don't even know the meaning of Godfather. My father is God in heaven. So he was the one that took me from every step all through. Yeah. There were times that I was blocked because I am somebody with a little stature. That is, I'm not too tall, I'm not fat. So there are many places that they stopped me, and I remember one time I went to the ministry, they told me they are calling proprietors, not representatives. And I told the man, if you are looking for a proprietor, then grass will grow on your legs. Because he made me angry, and after some time I say, where is the proprietor? I say, I'm the proprietor. He said I should give my ID card. When he saw the name Timchia Elvis, he started pleading and saying he was sorry. And there was a time that my documents were actually rejected. Part of the documents were rejected. I went to the ministry. They said at the level of the regional delegation has not sent the documents. I had to argue it out there. And actually, when the documents arrived at the ministry, the documents have been tampered with. They have put it. It was like rain has fallen on it, showing that they were already in a dustbin to be disposed. So when the ministry called, after I've pressurized them now, what happened is that they took the documents and they brought it back and they dried them and sent it to the ministry. So the ministry had to ask me to bring some certificates, to bring back some certificates so that they will just open and close. If I show the authorization, you will see that some of the papers were clipped using a stapling machine right at the ministry. Okay. So it was not easy. Secondly, the people that I programmed to work with, some of them gave up along the way because, I don't know, but I was motivated by the vision that I had and by the purpose. And pushing through the work was not easy, but the only godfather that I had was God.
So how much does one need to open a school in Yaoundé or in Cameroon, a vocational training institute for that matter?
Wow, that question will be very difficult to answer. I think the only thing that I can tell you is, if you ask me how I started, I will tell you that I started with nothing. And what I can say is that one needs a vision and purpose and focus and determination.
So if you are pleased to talk to a young Cameroonian today who has an idea, because everything stems from an idea, so who has a vision to like go your own way, what is it you're going to be telling that young person? Is it like you will tell him it's going to be all that easy? What is it that you really just think that if you give a young man in Cameroon, he's going to make it, that they at the moment lack?
What Cameroonians lack now is professionalism.
Okay.
Even those that are from professional schools, they lack professionalism. People have come with computers. I'm not exaggerating. People have come here to Yaoundé with computers from Douala, that they moved from one place to another and then they were not able to solve the problem, and have taken minutes to solve that problem.
Yeah.
Because most Cameroonians, they focus on my teacher told me, while most of those teachers that told them do not even know what they are telling them. In a professional institution, you are supposed to be professionally oriented. There are some professional institutes around that the students still come to this school secretly to study computer. I don't want to shock you about that one, but that is what is happening. So what we Cameroonians and Africans in general need, we need professionalization.
Okay.
We need professional education. And to be able to get professional education, you must get to a school that is practically oriented.
Okay.
It is the days have passed when we used to say this one like this. The mouse of a computer has 2 buttons and a ruler. It is time when you take the mouse of the computer and bring and say, this is the mouse of the computer, this is the left click button, this is the right click button, this is the ruler. When you left click, this is what happens. And then you take the mouse and you connect to the computer. Tell the students, left click and right click, roll it, and they will see it. That is what we need in Cameroon. We need professionalization, professional education. For somebody who wants to follow my field or wants to do the same thing that I want to do, I will just tell the person, let it be that it is your vision. Don't be driven by money, because when you put money first, you will fail. I have spent a lot. As I tell you, I cannot tell you what it takes. I have spent a lot of money, but I want to tell you that the money I have spent has not been on bribe. It has not been to motivate somebody to work, to do something for me at the level of the ministry. The money I have spent is to get the necessary professional equipment that are needed for the training.
So, we really know that Cameroon is a very difficult terrain to trade on.
Yeah.
And at some moments you were discouraged at the ministry. Now that the school is running, it's functioning, are there some of those people who have come back to you to say, come on, young man, you are a man, ride on?
You are right. Many of them, they have come back. One of the lecturers that actually turned off what I was telling him came back to me and told me, young man, you are a strong man.
Okay.
You get courage. That's why he said in Fiji, he said you get courage, and he tapped me on the back and told me keep on.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now let's go down to the school. You talked about the problem of Cameroon being lack of professionalism.
Yeah.
How practical, how professional are you at Civic Institute?
Okay. Wow. Talking about practical and professionalism at Civic Institute, I want to pin a point there. I want to say something. By the grace of God, when I started teaching, I started lecturing in professional institutions. I tried to implant this professionalism in the schools that gave me the go ahead. Because there are some institutes that you go there, since they see that you are small, your certificate is maybe lower, they will do what? They will give you one course, maybe a common course, or they will give you a course that do not have practicals involved in it. But the schools that have given me opportunity to take many courses that deals with practicals, I implant this technology in the students. And in the course of doing that, I also try to open my eyes to see those students that are performant. I want to tell you that last year is the best overall best student in Yaoundé in the Department of Computer Hardware Maintenance in HND was my student. I'm saying was my student because we were only three lecturers that were lecturing him, and I practically took all the practical courses, and he came out overall best first in Yaoundé, and he was second in Cameroon in the Department of Computer Hardware Maintenance. So what is my secret? How professional is Civic Institute? I look for the students that I know that are, for the trainees, for the trainers or lecturers that I know that they are professionally oriented. And when I see that they are professionally oriented, I bring them, because the equipments for professionalism are there. When you come here, for example, that I want to do office automation secretaryship, your classes are taking place inside the computer class. There are computers in front of you. It is each student on the computer. So when the teacher is teaching Microsoft Office, whatever the person is saying, when you press this thing in Microsoft Office, it does like this. You are pressing it. In computer hardware maintenance, their classroom is made up of a lot of computers, depending on hardware. The classroom is made up of a lot of computers, some for practicals and some for the application of the knowledge. Like when they say installation, before now they have installed operating systems several times. The school has free internet connection 24/7 for all the students. So when they come here, we give them work to do on the internet. We have resetted this router several times to teach the maintenance students how to reset the router. We have taught them how to filter IP addresses. We have taught them how to access it. So here we are practically oriented because the practical equipments are there. It is not theory. We give less of theory and we do much of practical.
Okay. Talk about the programs that are offered here at Civic Institute.
Okay. So at Civic Institute, we offer courses at 3 different levels. The first level of courses, we call them tailored courses. Tailored, like when the tailor is tailoring the dress. That is, tailored courses are courses that we do them in order to enable people that already know a bit to get to the advanced level of the particular application that they know. For example, Microsoft Excel. Somebody may want to may just need to advance his knowledge in Microsoft Excel. He already knows Microsoft Excel, and then he wants to maybe advance his knowledge in Microsoft Excel. That is what we call tailored courses, or maybe PowerPoint, Publisher, and the rest. So if you already have an idea and then you just want to enhance your technology, you call it tailored courses, or you can call it a crash course. But crash course is a little bit different because you are coming maybe to do it faster, but tailored course is actually to take you from basic level to advanced level, or to make you to be more knowledgeable about the particular program that you are doing. Then we have what we call accelerated training program. Accelerated program is when you want to study a particular field for a short time. For example, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months. For example, you don't want to write the national ministerial exam. You just want to know, to just get a school certificate, just a school attestation. So that one you may come and say, okay, I want to study Microsoft Office suite. That is Word, Excel, PowerPoint. That is, maybe you want to study secretarial duties within 3 months. That one is called accelerated program. So your program is going to be different. And then the third type of program now is the national diploma program, which runs for the whole year. We are really working now to start with the higher national program, national diploma program under the Ministry of Higher Education.
Okay. So let's talk about that diploma program. And before we talk about that, we will have to know that this school was authorized sometime in 2017. Yeah, talk about the batches you have had here.
Okay, talking about the batches, we have had only 2 batches. The former batch just had the results, and by the grace of God, we had the best results in the nation for this year. That was the first batch. and we also produced the overall best student in the Department of Computer Hardware Maintenance in this institution this year.
Okay.
So the second batch, which will soon be going for it.
So before we go to the second batch, let's talk about the first batch again. So what do you think your school did that merited the first position you scored? We want to note here that you came out with 100%. All your students that went in came out on the honor roll. So what was the particular thing that your lecturers, your school did that made the students succeed in that kind of a way?
Okay, so as I said previously, the purpose of this school is to make professional education actually professional. And here, what we did specifically is that we focus on practicals, professionalism. We pay attention to practicals, because there is one thing that I discovered. If you tell a student something, no matter how big the writing is, the student may not really understand effectively. But when you show the student something and the student does it, even in that examination room, if a student is unable to remember what was written down, the student will remember what he or she did with his or her hand. So here, our training, what is different from other places, is that our formation, our lectures are professionally oriented, practically oriented. We focus, we pay more attention on practicals. As I told you before, when a student come here to study, they are studying on the computer. So it is each student per computer. It is not a matter of you come and then they are telling you a network switch is something like this when you are not seeing the switch. But when you are able to manipulate and see those things inside, when examinations come up, you can be able to score high. And that is our secret.
Now, we generally say that examination is not a true test of knowledge.
Yeah.
Have your students been able to work with students from other schools in different places? They can be able to say that really the training here is effective. Because if we just look at it from that angle that they went to national exams and they made it in the field, have you been able to assess your students to see how they perform in the field?
Wow. So yeah, I've been able to access them. I've been able to find out. But before I go to accessing, the students that graduated from here last year, even before the results came out, all the places that they did internship, they called them back to work there. Most of them, they are working. I can say only about 2 students now are not working. We as a school on our part, the administration that was not working, producing effectively, we had to even employ some of them because we know what we have inculcated in them. 2 of them are working with us, one as a lecturer and the other is our administrative assistant here in the Department of Office Automation Secretary. So going out to the field, when they were on internship, I tried to assess. This student that came out of our role best, when he went for internship, his boss came here looking for admission.
Okay.
Can you imagine that? His boss came here looking for admission because he said since he has been receiving students for internship, no student has been as performance as this group of students. He came here to school to find out from me how he can gain admission.
Okay. Now let's talk about the other batch, the current batch you are holding now.
Yeah.
How are they performing?
The current batch is actually, I can say the batch is blessed. They have blessed us as a school because the current batch have a group of students that the way they work is like they have already been taught somewhere, but actually it is just from the brief moment that we have had here. You can imagine a student in the Department of Computer Office Automation Secretary designing graphics as if he's doing graphic designing. There are some that are produce wedding invitations, and there are some that edit things like they are graphic designers. Okay. So the current batch, I'm sure if there's another percentage that is higher than 100, we will score it this year.
Now let me ask this question the other way around.
Yes.
What's unique about Civic Institute?
Wow. There are many unique things about Civic Institute. The first uniqueness about Civic Institute is that the teachers and students are friends. It is a family. The teachers take students as their daughters and sons. The teachers take students as their friends. They understand the needs of students. I've seen tremendous relationship like love, where when a teacher has a problem, you see students scrambling to get to assist. Like the teacher, one of the lecturers that lost the mother, all the students in school, they got up on their own without the instruction of any administrator, and they went to see that everything goes on well. The second thing, uniqueness about Civic Institute is that the students enjoy all the services. What we tell them we are giving them, we give them. For example, t-shirts. The t-shirts were delivered on time. The internet services were delivered on time. That is unique about Civic Institute. We don't lie to students. When we tell them your school fees is this amount, when they pay the school fees, they forget. There are other institutions around that they will tell you the school fees is this amount. As time goes on, they will tell you pay examination fees, pay supervision fees, pay this particular fees, and that one will move the students to feel like they have been playing over their intelligence. The last thing about that is unique about Civic Institute is about the students' professionalism. Like I said, it is very unique. I lecture in other schools. It's difficult to go to a class and see each student sitting on the computer and the teacher is saying, press this, press this, press this. It's mostly theory. You go to lecture, some things you don't even see the equipment for practical. But here, everything is practically oriented. The students are used to the stuff. Now, what makes professional students not to get jobs out there? First, they go out there, they see things that they have never seen. You train a secretary, the secretary has never manipulated a printer, a photocopier. Who will employ a secretary that cannot be able to do recto-verso printing? For it's just an example. So when those equipment for training are not available, you are not professionalizing the students, you are not professionalizing them, you are just extorting money from them.
Now, before we close, I would like to find out this. Are you partnering with some other institutions, or are there plans of a possible partnership in the near future?
Yeah, I am working on international partnership. I'm not working on local partnership. Reason number one, because I've not yet identified an institution that can buy the vision and work the way Civic Institute is working. But as of now, I've written partnership letters to many institutions out there. I've requested for partnership with some universities in India, where professionalism, especially in the Department of Computing and Networking, is very effective. I've written partnership applications to some universities in the United States of America.
Okay. Now let's look at Civic in the next 10 years. 5 to 10 years.
Wow.
What's that beautiful picture you have in your mind in the next?
Because when you talk about 5 to 10 years, I see an institution that is unbeatable. That is why I'm smiling, because you have just asked something that if somebody hearing, my heart feels like you already know my plans. That's why I'm laughing. I'm trusting God that in the next 10 years, this institution should be an international university.
Okay.
That is meeting up the international standards of training. You see me, I repeatedly say training. I don't say international standards of learning or lecturing, because I want a professional institution where we train people to do things. That is it. That's why you see me continuously mentioning training, and we are really trusting God for a professional university of high standing.
Okay.
In the next few years, not even up to 10.
Okay. Now we are closing down and we need to relax. You don't need to be tense. So let's come back to this social life. Are you married?
Well, I'm not yet married, and
Then they rush you.
pardon.
Then they rush you.
No. I have a couple of wonderful friends, and
You can pick at any time.
no, you don't pick women.
Okay.
You can see a lot of ladies, but to locate a wife, somebody with a wife material, that's what has been challenging me.
Okay.
Somebody that will support my vision, somebody that will really look at the vision and say, no, young man, I can survive with you, hoping that the days are bright, women need to see.
What are the physical qualities you want to find in a woman of your...
Wow. The first physical quality that I need in a woman is beautiful smiles.
Yeah.
Because smiles take away a lot of sorrows.
So,
if God can give me a woman that can sing,
wow.
can sing nice songs, I'll be happy.
Fat, slim, tall, short.
I don't have a problem with size for now.
Okay.
But I don't really appreciate.
And let's not go there. Come on, let's go to your spiritual life.
Yeah. Wow. My spiritual life has been the most beautiful life that I've had.
Okay.
Actually, I had an encounter with this great God in 2006 when I was going to Form 3. That was a very difficult year because that was when I started taking care of myself after the demise of my father. That's when I discovered that my earthly parents could not do what God can do for me. And by the grace of God, I was made to be the youth leader at that time when I was still getting to know God. And He has been taking me through to lead young people at various levels and in various churches. I've also been organizing a lot of entrepreneurship programs just to train young people to be able to be purpose-driven even as Christians. In the church today, you see that most Christians are very, very broke. Or let me say very, very poor because they don't know how to use the gifts of the Spirit to be able to maximize and make the world a better place.
Okay.
So with my spiritual life, God has actually been blessing me since I had an encounter with God, since I received Jesus Christ as my personal Lord and Savior. I've never regretted the decision.
What's the craziest thing you've ever done in your life? Funniest, craziest,
Wow. What can I say? The funniest, craziest thing that I've ever done in my life was the day that I tried to disconnect electric cables with my bare hands.
And how was the experience?
Oh, I was picked by current and thrown far away from those cables. And
just imagine with your smaller statue size and
yeah, I was really thrown away
well, it was nice talking to you. Is there anything you wanted to tell us that I have not asked and you feel like you should say it?
The only thing I wanted to say, I know that this is an academic discussion, but I want to encourage everybody looking at this, watching at this, that you need to give your life to Jesus Christ. He can transform your life in a minute. It is true, it is not easy, like people say, to follow God, because when He picks you up, He takes away all the things that were with you. He may take away everything that were with you that is not from Him, because He wants to give you something better. He wants to give you a better future. It is not difficult to follow Christ like people think. It's just because many people like to live in lies. But God is true. If you can give your life to Christ, you will experience a turnaround in many things in your life. The beginning may be difficult, but when you keep on, God is going to take you to another level. My secret of success is not Godfather, is not anything. My secret is Jesus Christ. And that is why I can boldly say that nobody can stop me. If God did not stop me from beginning this school, nobody can stop me. But if it was that I started by maybe begging from people or focusing on people, the people can stop me, because if they stop supplying to me, I will stop gaining what I'm gaining. But it's God. Like I will show you again, this institution does not have a signpost yet on the roadside. We don't even have enough funds to advertise the school, but people flooding here all the time to find out about the institution.
You say that, and I just remember a question I had to ask you. Just approximate, how many number of lives has this institution been able to touch since it started operating?
Wow. Okay. This institution has, if I want to estimate in a low percentage, I will say that this institution has been able to train over 300 young people.
Okay.
Some that left from Chad and came here for training. Okay. I don't know how they got to know about the school.
Wow.
They left from Chad, one man left from Chad, came and rented up there to do some professional training here. And I think we have been able to train a number of people that can amount to above 300.
How many do you employ here?
In terms of employment, even though I don't employ,
yeah,
I want to reverse the question by saying that how many do I work with? Yes, the number of people that I work with here are about, I can say those that are actively working are 10.
Okay.
And those that are working, visiting workers, people that just work in particular seasons, they are 5. So altogether we have about 15 people that we work with here.
Okay.
Excluding the lecturers that just come and visit and teach some few courses and go.
Okay. Well, it was nice talking to you.
Thank you. Go back to school. At that time, since I knew I was the one taking care of myself,